Hello YouTube, my name is Sly. Welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoy this reaction. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Without further ado, here we go.
Disney gets more employees with shock out of layoffs. So we're gonna find out why Disney doing layoffs, I guess. Oh, here we go.
Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we have
Hello.
another daily dose of dismal Disney for you. There are a lot of layoffs hitting the Walt Disney Company.
Yeah. And it's an entertainment places and ABC places they just cut not that long ago.
Yeah, so this is surprising because usually when they do rounds of layoffs, it's in the fall after their fiscal year. And they're just chopping. So we're going to talk about these.
But I guess we're gonna find out why they're doing layoffs. Well, here's that to say.
Latest cuts at the Walt Disney Company. We want to give a shout out to War Thunder, the sponsor of this video. We'll talk a little bit more about them later. But this doesn't look too good. This is coming from Deadline. Disney laying off hundreds in TV and film, entertainment, and corporate finance. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
And again, this is an exclusive bad news from Deadline. So it's not just us. You know, we're not the only ones bringing the bad news, right?
You're just a bunch of haters. No, they have been laying off at other times other than fall the last couple of years, but they usually let people know ahead of time initially. And it's interesting because this month in June, the end of this month is the start of the next quarter. So it's the end of the last quarter, start of the next one in July. And it's funny to me because they're unrelated, but it might still be related. They're trying to make cuts, trying to save money, they're trying to do whatever. But this is the same time they just announced that they were doing this new thing with Disney Plus and Hulu. If you have them or the bundles, you could get like these perks. Disney Plus perks, Hulu perks, and they're like different offers and different things that they're trying to use that subscribe.
It's kind of weird they're doing a round of layoffs and they got new stuff for her now. Whatever has anything to do with the flops they've had recently with their live action crossovers.
Subscribe, and right now the prices are staying that they are, but they've said before that we think they can probably go higher. So I'm expecting with these perk programs the prices to go up, but they're offering these perks out of nowhere, all of a sudden, and now they're doing a bunch of layoffs, which they might be unrelated, but it sounds like something not going too well over the House of Mouse.
Yeah, I think what's actually going on is they're basically robbing Peter to pay Paul. They're cutting back on their linear television to put more money into streaming.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what they're doing with linear, because Iger has made comments that, we want to keep our linear, and other times they're like, linear's problem. So he's, kind of played both sides on this one. I don't really know what they're going to do with it.
Sounds like they're a bit over the place right now. Don't know what direction to take, really. Which is understandable considering how they're having, trouble with the streaming stuff, not turning a profit. And then, of course, the recent flop in the box office with Snow White. Well, I imagine they're trying to figure out a new direction by the sound of it.
But they're cutting people now, so...
Yeah, I don't know if they know what they're going to do with it. I think basically everybody's like holding on as long as they can, but I think at some point it's going to become very obvious that keeping all these cable channels, these linear channels, isn't really an option. It's not really an option anymore. Before we get into the meat of this article, guys, we're going to give a shout out to our sponsor, War Thunder, and we'll be back in a minute or two. I want to give a big shout out to the sponsor of this video, War Thunder. War Thunder is the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made. It's available to play for free on PC consoles and on mobile devices. You can take command of over 2,500 tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships
on my
10
part.
major nations.
I don't want to hurt you or handicap revenue possibilities.
Of the 1920s to the fighter jets and the main battle tanks of today. That sounds like a lot of fun, right? Immerse yourself in the intense combat of War Thunder, where incredibly detailed vehicles, realistic graphics, and authentic sound effects place you right at the helm of the most powerful war machines of our time. You can join a worldwide community of over 70 million players in epic PvP battles today and delve into the breathtaking experience that is War Thunder. With an unmatched wealth of high-quality content to discover, there is no game better suited for fans of military history. I have played this game myself. I think it is a lot of fun. Play War Thunder now for free on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, or mobile devices. Use my links in the pinned comment or video description to sign up. New players and those who haven't played in 6 months will also receive a massive bonus pack on PC or consoles that includes multiple premium vehicles, an exclusive decorator Eagle of Valor, 100,000 silver lines, and 7 days of premium content available for a limited time only, so don't miss out. All right, guys, welcome back. It's time for the mouse meat.
All right.
I just, when you say
Now we're
meat
last
on
one
the
loose.
article, it makes you want to like barf.
That's a thing. Did you know that people eat mice?
Okay, what?
That's actually a thing. I don't know. It's anyway.
Okay, I could have gone all day without hearing that.
Yeah,
I agree,
It is a thing.
Gigi.
I had my third grade teacher tell me once that she went to some fancy restaurant and they served mouse. I'm like, was that intentional? Or did they? They have rats at the restaurant or what? Anyway,
Well, the mouse is getting served up because they're back on the spotlight for a bunch of layoffs again.
yeah. So major layoffs are underway. This is coming from Deadline. Monday at the Walt Disney Company, with several hundred employees impacted globally. The bulk of them are across divisions of Disney Entertainment, including marketing for both film and television.
Oh, that's interesting.
That is very interesting, as well as television publicity, casting.
So it sounds like they're trimming down their TV-based stuff and focusing more on streaming by the sounds of it. Be interested to see how that works out for them.
And development. So it sounds to me like they're cutting back on the number of shows. Why,
Well,
True,
that ties
true.
to what you said earlier. But
Well, it sounds like.
in general, they're just like, it seems like, is this all on the movie end or is this on the show end? We don't know. It's just across the board.
Yeah, it's across the board, but it seems like it's hitting mostly television. They said it also affected our Disney's corporate financial operations. According to sources, the size of the cuts on the film and the TV side of Disney Entertainment is comparable. No teams are being eliminated. The majority of the Disney Entertainment television staffers are said to be based in L.A.
No shocker there.
Where it's expensive, right? Deadline will continue its
Right,
coverage
right.
as more details come through. This is their follow-up. They said, here's some of the people that were gone,
Well, they
getting
have
gone.
some people listed now? Okay.
They do. They have, according to sources, among those getting gone is Eric Solier, VP of Casting for 20th Century, who worked on American Horror Story and 911. Also departing is Tony Thompson. Now, this is where it's interesting. VP Content Development at Hulu Originals, who had been at the streamer for 6 years. He's already pursuing new opportunities and has been meeting for jobs. Lower level development executives, including a manager of drama programming, ABC Hulu, have also.
Now, this is interesting. The stuff they're naming off is all companies and studios that Disney has acquired over the years. So it sounds like they're trimming off stuff from the extra companies they bought. I guess trying to make up for the money they spent.
been affected.
So it's Hulu and ABC, a lot of it.
Yeah.
Because 911 was ABC and stuff too.
Yeah. There's been some confusion today as several Disney TV execs are leaving or have just left through their exits and are not part of the layoff. So there are people leaving on their own.
Okay, at the same time. So it sounds to me like I'm leaving before you fire me. Or
Yes.
something's not
Yes.
something is there. I don't like it here. There's reasons it's toxic. I don't want to be here. I'm leaving to go someplace else. And it just coincides with all these layoffs too.
Yeah, and they do, as executives especially, they usually have the out clause, and if they choose to leave on their own, they will make it look as good as possible for them.
Unless you go to Netflix.
Unless you get Netflix, yeah, right. Yeah, so this is the senior vice president of casting, Dylan Brander Gunning, who departed after her contract was up last month. They basically just didn't renew her contract a bit. She was the head of casting at ABC Signature.
So another casting.
Another casting. Well, if you're cutting back on programming, why do you need casting people, right?
Or it's like saying, hey, we have too many people. You don't need 10 people to do this job. You only need like
Right.
6 or whatever,
Right. No longer a part of Disney is Crystal Holt, VP series for 20th, as well as Colin Sapar. I don't know who any of these people are, whatever. VP of Drama Development, ABC Hulu, whose contract is up.
ABC Hulu and 20th. That's what I'm hearing over and over again.
Yeah. Interesting.
Past the ad here.
So let's see what else is going on. They said this is the 4th and largest round of layoffs in the past 10 months.
It's been a while since they've done anything on the entertainment other than ABC, like the news thing they had done. That was last fall, I think. It has been a while, and people were expecting like them to be done with it because they already did a big cut, like layoff cut, and now they're doing another one, and it's big.
Yeah, so they said this is part of the ongoing cost-cutting process at the traditional media companies as they reshape their business to focus on streaming while facing economic headwinds. There it is.
Yeah. So they are going to cut back on TV-based stuff and focus on streaming. Kind of expected that to be coming. Didn't really surprise me all that much. A lot of people don't even use cable TV anymore, so not really a big shocker there.
It is macroeconomic circumstances and economic headwinds.
I said to you when that Hulu and Disney Plus perk thing came out, I said to you, something must not be good. With subscribers must not be great because they're offering this perks program to try to get people to subscribe. And I also said in my article I'd written about it that the price, it sounds like a good deal with the price now, but they're going to argue, they're going to raise the price and they're going to argue, well, with this perks program, it's, the value is better than what the price. So you're still getting a huge value even if you raise the price. And that's what they're going to probably do because they're hemorrhaging money. They don't have the subscribers. They're trying to pay for streaming. So they're just making cuts and then they're offering these programs.
Now, not to mention they keep raising their prices for subscriptions and adding commercials to what used to be commercial-free tiers just to make extra money, so yeah.
I'm like desperation trying to get people to sign up.
Well, I was like, I did the video earlier today, and Tony Gilroy, the showrunner of Andor, kind of let it slip that Disney doesn't have the budget it had before for Disney Plus shows, right? They weren't
making any money. I mean, especially when it came to Star Wars, they were spending how much money they spend on the Acolyte, and even people who liked the show were like, "Yeah, I don't know where the money went." And then they were losing money. They aren't greenlighting the stuff because they're coming up upside down on it.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and now they're starting to realize that, like, yeah, a lot of this stuff we're better off just doing fewer things and dumping them into theaters and seeing what happens. I mean, Lilo and Stitch was supposed to be a Disney Plus thing. They put it in the theater and it made like a ridiculous amount of money. So
Moana 2,
same thing. I think that's why Mandalorian's going instead of season 4. We're going to theater.
I don't think it's going to work in the same way as the other two did.
No,
I think
Star Wars is damaged.
I don't think so.
But yeah, they said this is part. I don't believe this. I think this is a new wrinkle because they said Bob Iger set the pace upon his return as CEO, establishing a goal of at least $7.5 billion in cost reductions in 2023.
Right, that was years ago, and they supposedly hit that already.
Yeah, with 7,000 jobs.
So it's not part of that. It's not part of that.
So
this is on top of.
So in 2031, when they continue to lay people off.
You have like 5 people left at the company.
Yeah, it'll be like, oh, this is part of that cost-cutting measure, from like 10 years ago. Yeah, no. This tells me that things aren't that great in streaming. But yeah, they're saying the money's drying up. And
well, there aren't a ton of streaming services anymore. They're all divided. There are even free streaming services where you get a lot of that content that people offer on paid ones for like the exact same experience because free ones have commercials and now the pay ones on the lower tiers have commercials which they didn't used to. So yeah, I can see how streaming is being affected by that. That and they keep increasing their prices and people can't afford it.
Even Netflix, which is doing better than everybody else, they're even cutting back on what they're spending.
Well, it's too expensive. People, I just don't think you get like when you used to have the shows, you could sell the commercials and all that. And the only reason they're making money at Disney Plus and then they're having these profits and stuff is because they are selling advertising. And then even the ad-free thing, you pay for the ad-free and they're still making you watch ads. They have to do that to make the money twice or be real profitable. You pay your subscription and then they make the money on ads. But they still can't make enough money. And then they still don't have enough subscribers, enough that they're trying to push these perks programs. And I guarantee you with these perks programs, give it time. They already hinted around last year they're going to raise the prices on Disney Plus and Hulu again. They already said they were going to do that. And they're going to use this.
More price hikes. Great. That's all we need. Another pinch in the wallet. Always trying nickel and dime everybody, aren't they?
Something like this is an argument. I will bet you anything they do. And I just noticed that. And then this on top of it, this comes after that. I'm like, all I'm seeing is, warning. That's what I'm seeing here.
So they go on to say in early March, just under 200 Disney employees were laid off, representing almost 6% of the workforce in the ABC News Group and Disney's entertainment networks, including Freeform and FX.
Yes, I remember.
Yep. A big restructuring last October involved the shutdown of ABC Signature with its operations folded into 20th Television and the consolidation of ABC and Hulu original scripted drama and comedy teams. Yeah, it's basically the same thing. I mean, it feels like Hulu has effectively replaced ABC and FX.
Right. And that's what we're hearing over and over again. The cuts were made to ABC Hulu, 20th Century. So also that they merged last time, they're coming back and cutting again.
Yeah, and it's the same with like Disney Channel. It feels like Disney Plus has basically replaced Disney Channel at this point.
But it's so funny because they're going to premiere like Phineas and Ferb on the Disney Channel first.
That could be, I mean,
unless it's a budget thing and they're trying to shuffle around where the budgets are.
That's what I'm wondering. Because this is like they did. I mean, look, I don't know for sure, but this is kind of what they did with Ms. Marvel. They put her on like every platform, I think, so they could say, "Oh yeah, well we split the cost, between like these four platforms."
Well, I know they did it with Benedict Society. What was that one show? Whatever it was called.
I don't know.
Now, interesting point to note is I don't know if y'all noticed that things they're talking about or cutting back on is all the extra stuff that they've acquired over the years, all the other like 20th Century Fox and all them. So maybe you're just trying to consolidate them down to one or two studios rather than have a whole bunch of different studios. That's another possibility. Trying to cut costs, save some money somewhere.
It was that one show back. I can't remember what it's called, but Benedict Society or whatever it was called. That one was one that was supposed to be on Disney Plus, and they put it someplace else. Or supposed to be on. I was supposed to be on. I'm sorry, on Disney. Disney Plus, and they put it like on Disney Channel or ABC or something. I forget where they put it off the top of my head. It was a while ago, but they put it someplace else first, so they could count the budget, take some of the money from there as the budget, and saying it was launched there instead of Disney Plus. And they put it on Disney Plus where it was supposed to go to begin with.
That's
sense one thing that they're doing. I mean, I could be wrong, but it feels like because they know. Disney Channel is dead, basically. I mean, Phineas and Ferb was a huge hit when it was on, but I mean, what were we talking? 10 years ago?
I'm excited to see the Phineas and Ferb because the same people that were on the last time. As long as they don't super different than what it was, it's going to be awesome.
But it's weird. We've got Phineas and Ferb on Disney Channel, and it'll go on to Disney Plus, but then we've got Gumball on Disney Plus and Hulu too.
I know.
It's so weird because it's basically at this point, it's just like it feels like the streaming services are basically just a container for content, right? Like that's what they were. I mean, but it doesn't matter what company it comes from or whatever. We just dump it all on to
whoever's going to pay for it.
Whoever's going to pay for it, yeah.
And that's it's ironic because they just went right back to doing what they were doing before they all decided they needed streaming services. They were just making content for Netflix and Hulu. And now they all decide they wanted their own, and now we're back to some of the places just selling it to whoever has the money and wants to pay for it.
Yeah,
like you did before. So why did you take a detour down your own streaming service?
It took
lose all that money.
Well, I think what it is was they found out that running your own service isn't as easy or as cheap as what they thought it'd be. Because on top of their cable channels, and all that stuff, the movies they make, trying to maintain a streaming service on top of it. Hi, these streamers. Welcome. Welcome. How are you doing? How's Kate going over there? But if you look at all they've done, right, instead of just doing widescreen like they used to for like Netflix and Hulu, right, they tried taking over, and because they find out it's not as easy or as cheap as they thought it'd be. So they have to start making cuts somewhere to start uh, making money again. Because like I said, Disney, especially with that flop of Snow White, they're hurting for money right now. Oh, I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. My first time dual streaming, so there's some bugs. I apologize.
Up your own ass is what you
Yeah,
did. Because a lot of these,
basically.
they all thought they could compete with Netflix. They were pissed off that Netflix came in and basically beat them at their own game, but they let it happen because what happened was Netflix, yeah, they were doing originals kind of, but when all these studios started pulling their content off, to be like, well, fine, we're not going to help you get big, Netflix, because now you're going to compete with us because you're doing, Orange is New Black or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't really like to the level they're doing it now. So Netflix is basically like, fine, I guess we're a TV then and a movie studio.
Well, yeah,
too.
and they're still kicking their butts.
Yeah. And
They all were
it's
going
like,
to beat Netflix, and they didn't.
yeah. Because they were mad because you had like Warner Brothers. It's like, hey, we're keeping Netflix going with Friends, and then you had NBC. It was like, oh, we're keeping Netflix going with The Office, and we could all have that to ourselves. And it's like, no, that's not it. People like having the convenience of everything they want to watch all in one place.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And if it were me, I'd be like, what's the biggest game in town? Oh, it's Netflix. Okay, so let's just make content for Netflix.
Yeah,
and call it a day.
it's stupid because like there were some places that were so small, having their own streaming service was just absolutely ridiculous, and they did it anyway. And I was like, that's just dumb. It's just dumb. And now
Yeah.
you're spending all this money, you're never going to compete, and now they're all selling to each other or going under or whatever because it was dumb to begin with.
Right.
So they're talking about like, yeah, they don't understand because they're like, well, they had a better than expected Q2, but they said it was because of sports, and then they said the layoffs come on the heels.
Sports, but they also offered those deals where you got Netflix, Hulu, whatever for like, or not Netflix, Disney Plus and Hulu or whatever for like $3 a month.
Yeah,
For so many months, and of course people were signing up. It was whenever they do that, and it's not like a Black Friday deal or something like that. It's near the end of a quarter. They're desperately trying to up their numbers. That's why the numbers look good.
Yeah,
Right. That makes sense.
So there are
too.
big staff cuts at NBC Universal. Apparently, Spinco has been renamed Versant. I don't know.
Really?
Something like that,
They realized Spinco was really stupid when you're trying to argue that you're not spinning things and you call it Spinco.
Virgin because nobody wants to touch it.
I know. I was
funny.
just like, I don't think call it Spinco. I'm like, what? You self-aware?
Spumco.
I was like,
All right, so here's a whole bunch. I love Deadline and The Wrap and The Hollywood Reporter because we get all these industry types. They're all like anonymous, and they all leave these comments. It's like you can tell somebody works in the industry. It's not.
yeah,
real
they're too
happy.
afraid to put their name on it. Yeah.
Right.
We
Funny
put
how
our name on it.
I don't give a shit. It's funny how Disney spent big to retain NBA rights and then handed Steven Smith a $100 million deal, yet continues to lay off loyal, long-tenured staff. With all due respect to Bob Iger, it's time to retire, and please never consider running for office again.
You know what's so funny? I'm seeing this on Disney, like the fan boards too. It was like, what's the worst thing that happened to Disney, other than Bob Iger and stuff like that. And I thought it was interesting because everybody was like, oh, Iger's back. It's great. And I remember us saying, this isn't necessarily a good thing. This is probably not a good thing at all. And they're like, you're just a bunch of haters and all other stuff. And now they're saying it too, which is funny to me.
Yeah, I think it's funny. I think he should have left on a high note. I think it was a huge mistake for him to come back. Because now he looks like the bad guy. Before he could leave on a high note and be like, well, hey, when I was at Disney, things were great, weren't they? Even though a lot of it had to do with the economy, a lot of it had to do with the fact that they hadn't yet ruined Marvel and Star Wars and all that, Pixar and all those other brands.
But where the stock went really high was under Chapek.
Yeah, because they saw, because that's all the shareholders care about, unfortunately. I mean, that's the truth of it, right? When you're a publicly traded company, all they care about is maximum profit, maximum stock value, and anything that seems like it's going to contribute. Like, oh, you're laying a bunch of people off and you're going to cut back on programming. Fantastic. That means my portfolio is going to do so good.
Right. That's exactly it. And the stock's trying to go up.
Yeah. Yeah. The accountant says it's the effect of Disney Plus paying $200 million to Disney to stream its own movie.
Well, that's what they do because
What? That's crazy. They gotta pay their own company to stream a movie? How ridiculous is that? It almost sounds like a money laundering scheme or something. That's just nuts.
because
Yeah.
you have to understand they're separate companies. Like they're all under the Disney World Company umbrella, but they're different. So like if Disney wants to run a commercial on ABC, they're supposed to pay ABC to run the
Yes.
commercial, and that's how you do it. They have to pay each other. It's still the same company, but because they're different branches of the company, they still are separated enough that they have to do the same as they make anybody else do.
Yeah, but it's also a great way to kind of hide the
Launder
revenue.
money. Yeah, that's why
Yeah.
there's a lawsuit against Chapek and Company for
Yeah.
that Benedict Society or whatever it was. I'm probably saying it wrong, and I'm sorry if I am. I'm really tired.
Chris said just the start, not just for Hollywood. The AI reckoning is real. I don't know if it's just AI, but I'm going to tell you, I think AI is hastening this because I think they're like, hey, we can make movies and TV shows for less.
That's true.
And we need to because we can't spend $300 million on a show or a movie that nobody's going to watch. It's going to cost us, hundreds of millions of dollars in losses. The new normal is going to be, hey, we did this movie for $50 million, $100 million.
Yeah, but therein lies the problem, right? Because, all this AI stuff going. It's going to come down to if they want actors' voices and stuff and likenesses, they're going to have to lease them instead of hiring the actor. I know there's already a repository where some actors who have passed have signed up to have their likenesses and voices saved, and then they can be leased out and the proceeds go to their surviving families. I know something like that exists. So I imagine something like that is going to expand if they do go with AI. But at the same time, all those artists, right, that studied years to learn how to do their craft, are just getting kicked to the curb because of AI. Hi, Zab, how's it going? Ah, yeah, that makes sense too. But I know there was some that had done it before they passed, so. Like, I think probably the most famous one would be. Oh, good morning or afternoon. But I think the most famous one is James Earl Jones. His likeness and voice are in that repository, mostly for Star Wars stuff. But I imagine that other companies can lease it out too, if they want his voice, because he had a very unique voice.
And especially looking at Lilo and Stitch, that was supposed to be for Disney Plus. It cost $100 million or under $100 million. And look, in some ways it shows, but and they're getting a huge return on that.
Yeah, even if it doesn't do as great as people thought it was going to do, they're still getting money. Unlike Snow White. So
yeah, right. This person's like, there's no AI reckoning. Yeah, they're going about AI. I don't think that's the whole thing. I think basically it's like, look, it's a corporation. The linear TV is dying. They've been massively overspending for years on movies and TV shows that have brought them nothing but heartache in return. And they're like, yeah, we're gonna have to go back to making fewer shows and fewer movies and be more strategic in what we do. And what'll happen is they'll use this as a fantastic opportunity to cancel a bunch of shit that nobody wants.
Mm-hmm.
I can guarantee it. They're gonna be like, oh yeah, show we announced a couple years ago, movie. Yeah, we're just not gonna do that now because macroeconomic headwinds. Translation, we really didn't want to do it in the first place. We felt like we had to greenlight it, and now we have a good reason to get out of it.
At least they aren't blaming on the tariffs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a whole yellow board game. Oh, man. You missed that. I did that.
That's a whole nother can of worms. Even though the tariffs are on pause, they're still blaming tariffs, so. Always trying to point the finger at something, aren't they?
Video yesterday. All the board game companies are flipping out. They're like, the tariffs, guys, the tariffs. Oh my God, we got to lay people off. And then it turned out that they're just like putting a whole thing on pause for like 3 months. And they're still like, oh my God,
like
the
Walmart.
tariffs.
I can tell you, in fact, Walmart raised prices on stuff. Like I know the Monster High dolls went $5, and they're saying, oh, it's because of tariffs. But you don't have tariffs yet.
Yeah,
Those weren't impacted by tariffs. So
you were looking for a reason to nope out or raise prices, and the tariffs gave you an excuse to do that. And it's the same with this. I think they're going to lay a bunch of people off. They're going to say macroeconomic circumstances. Oh, look, our linear is not doing well. We can get rid of a bunch of people. Oh, now they can't sue us either because just our business took a hit and we had to lay them off. But in reality, we wanted to downsize, and this gives us a good reason to do that.
Gives you opportunity, yeah.
Right. And then we can get more profit. More profit. It's off cheaper stuff. So we're going to wrap this up.
Yep.
All right, guys. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.
Shout out to War Thunder again for sponsoring today's video. Make sure to check out War Thunder now for free on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, or mobile, and use my links in the pinned comment or video description to register. Those of you who are new or who haven't played in 6 months will receive a massive bonus pack across PC and console, including multiple premium vehicles, in-game currency, and more. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Clownfish, for